Shalom, shalom. Call Haloyim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Chakwadash and Shani Kabarak at the Walla Requabs of Quanyam Nawa Washalayakim Nawa. And that is double honors to our elders and apostles of Greater Millstone. And Shalom, Wabarakyam, Labakayam, Shalayasharala. And that is peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. And a peace and blessings to the confusion of faces. And may a double portion of the Holy Spirit be put upon the brothers that are out there on the highways and byways that are offering their bodies as a living sacrifice out there on the front lines. So I just wanted to bring about another video showing prophecy that is coming to pass. What's going on right now in the world is basically a global economic slowdown, and we see the two biggest nations, the two biggest economies basically are basically in a trade war, that being China and America. And as you can see, this title right here is "The Economy is Slipping. China's Slowdown Hits Former Boomtown." Now, before we get into this article, we're going to read the prophecy concerning what's going on. And this is only part of this prophecy has taken place concerning the economic slowdown, but eventually then part of China will be destroyed as well. So 2 Esdras 15, chapter 46 says, "And thou, Asia," that's representative of China today, "that art partaker of the hope of Babylon," Babylon is America today, "and art the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her." And as you can see, China has taken part in many of the ways and traditions of America. That's why they do so much business with America. It says, "Because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers." You see, because China has taken upon the philosophies and ways and really the doctrine of America right now. That's why it says that they might please and glory in thy lovers, because China represents, or let me say, the Moabites are the so-called Chinese today. And the Moabites have their own traditions and philosophies, and you can even say their own gods that they serve. But the philosophies and ways of America, aka Babylon the Great, that we're reading about, has taken place over there in China right now, in Moab, should I say. So it says that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions, that being America. Therefore saith the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, "I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty." Keep in mind all these things right here. It says widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. So all these things are going to happen to China. And we're going to get into this article just to see that it's starting to already hit right now with this global economic slowdown because of this trade war. Verse 50 says, "And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower." Now, what's the glory of China's or Asia's or Moab's power? Well, right now, what are they doing? Part of the adultery that they're committing is basically going in league with America in terms of everybody who has business over here in America. What do? They set up shop basically over there in China. They get parts and labor and so many other things over there for cheap. And that was a big deal. And that's how China, not really how they began to prosper, but that's a big part of their economic stability, a big part of their growth over there. But of course, now you have the trade wars that's going on. So a lot of the economic growth over there in China is really slowing down. And that's just a part of it. That's just a small part of it. I'm just giving a rough example of what came to mind. You know, of course, I'm sure you can find articles about the, top imports and exports and so on, back and forth between America and China. But I'm not really getting into all that in this video. I've done it before in previous videos. And there are many, many, many other Akim, I'm sure, and different probably economic, advisors and politicians that get into it, But I'm just going to get into the article. So verse 50 again, really quickly, said, "And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is sent over thee." And that's what they're going through. That's the sword, the poverty, the famine, the pestilence. That's the heat that's going on over there right now. So with that being said, let's jump into this article really quickly. It says, once again, the economy is slipping. China's slowdown hits former boomtown. Now check this out. It's basically giving an example of this guy over there in China to represent the economic slowdown of what's going on. It says in Slovakia, I don't know how to pronounce all these words. I'm going to do my best. So this guy's name, I'm going to just say He Kyung. All right. So He Kyung should be manning his convenience store. But today he's collecting tiny green berries along the road and shooting them at birds with his slingshot. The 26-year-old is distracting himself from his worries. He spent all his savings, the equivalent of $35,000, on a store that no longer has any customers. He bought the store a year ago after hearing the economy of Huchuan, this city of more than 1 million people just outside the metropolis of Chongqing in southwest central China, was booming. Automobile factories in Huchuan employed thousands of people who churned out SUVs for China's consumer class. Now he said, "My shop did well for a month after I moved here," says he, taking aim at a bird atop a tree. "But then everyone left. Now they're all gone. Every day more people leave. Assembly lines have shut down. Workers have left. In Huchuan's streets, shops, and many residents' pocketbooks are now empty. His convenience," they meant to say his convenience store, "is still open, but hardly anybody buys anything. So he's taken another job next door as a fast food delivery man." This is what's happening to the people over there. He says this is just one example. He says he rarely has to work because the restaurant is usually empty. It pays the equivalent of $500 a month. And this is what's going to happen to America. Salakia, one sec, bros. I got to turn down my oven. I'm going to just turn it off real quick. My fault. Had some things in there. Salakia about that. But let's continue going on. He goes on to say, "I'm barely getting by," he says. "I'm waiting to see if the economy picks up this year. When I lose all my money, I'll leave." So he's just clinging on to any last hope that he has. So you see this economic slowdown that's happening over there in China, and they're really being affected by this trade war that's going on. And soon enough, the same exact thing times 10 million is going to happen over here in America. Now it says, "We can feel the impact of the trade war with America here." Well, there you go. It says Huchuan has been incorporated into the greater Chongqing municipality, which is one of the 4 megacities under the Chinese central government's control and the only one located far away from a coast. Blah, blah, blah. It says this is China's blue-collar capital, home to an aspiring middle class and a landscape of factories at the heart of China's industrial sector, a heart whose beat is weakening. So it was supposed to be, or it was at one point, a very prosperous place, but now it's weakening. It says overall, China has reported its slowest economic growth in nearly 3 decades, a historic slowdown amid weakened domestic demand and a tense trade war with the United States. It says for more than a decade, this will probably be the last paragraph we read. For more than a decade, Chongqing's economy sped ahead with double-digit annual growth, but last year, the city's gross domestic product grew less than expected at 6%, its slowest pace since 1989. Right here it says, and these are all just good facts just to read and get into, because all this is prophecy once again, which is why we started out reading in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter. You don't got to know all these facts by heart, but hey, it may be good facts just to spew out when you're amongst the brotherhood, just to edify, who knows, or maybe even on the highways and byways. You never know. It says industrial output overall grew just 3%, a 30-year low, the site said, while production in the auto sector plunged more than 17% compared with the previous year. So you see the economic slowdown that's going on in China right now because of this tense trade war with America. And once again, the people over here in America aren't feeling the effects of the trade war, but they soon will feel it, Salakia, just like what's happening in China. I'm going to see what this link has really quickly. So it said overall, China has reported its slowest economic growth in nearly 3 decades. I want to click on that just to see what it says really quickly. Okay, so it gave us a link to Reuters. This article was written 4 months ago, January 2019. It says China's economy cooled in the fourth quarter under pressure of 2018 from faltering domestic demand and bruising U.S. tariffs, dragging 2018 growth to the lowest level in nearly 3 decades and pressuring Beijing to roll out more stimulus to avert a sharper slowdown. Growing signs of weakness in China, which has generated nearly a third of global growth in recent years, are fueling anxiety about risks to the world economy and are weighing on profits for firms ranging from Apple to big car makers. Okay, so they're just quoting from that article basically. Policymakers have pledged to support blah blah blah. The government also needs to support the economy. So now it's just getting into how China is doing its best to create some kind of stimulus for their economy. And it goes into the fourth quarter of 2018, their GDP, it was low. And that's the point right there. If you wanted to read more in this article, this is the title. It's from Reuters. And hitting the back button real quick. Once again, this is the title from the first article. The economy is slipping. China's slowdown hits former boomtown. So you see this global economic slowdown right now from the 2 biggest, basically, economies on earth being China and America. And of course, we read the prophecy in 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter. So I do pray that this video was edifying. I just wanted to bring that out to show that prophecy is taking place. I pray that it's edifying once again, and I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.